Why do you want a battery and what are we designing it for? First things first, what's the priority and what are we designing it towards? And I think the VPP or virtual power plant topic is a really interesting one.
Yeah, so what a virtual power plant basically is that you become generation station at your house when you've got a battery, because anytime, day or night, you can send power back to the grid. Where normally a solar system, you're producing power at daylight hours where the grid doesn't really need that power. But if you've got a battery and between 6 and 9 at night, you can send that back to the grid.
And get paid for it.
That's a really valuable resource to the grid. And you can get paid a lot for it. If you're buying a battery and you're thinking about a return on investment, then VPPs is a really good.
If you're looking at a focus on bills and it's really about that return on investment calculation, realistically, you want the lowest upfront cost, because that's also going to, for the amount of capacity, that should reduce the payback period as well. It's fair to say that we focus more on quality batteries. They tend to be a little bit more costly, but we're seeing it as more of a long-term investment. And so we're looking at stuff that may take a bit longer to pay for itself, but it's more about 10, 15 years plus. Definitely when it comes to bills, it's really about maximizing that self-sufficiency.
And then there's a third idea, which more and more customers are getting, especially in the southeast after the ex-tropical cyclone hit us.
Yeah, so backup is interesting because we can talk about either doing full home backup or we can do essential loads. Essential loads is, I think, the best option, but I personally like having my whole house backed up, not being restricted, especially if we're talking three-phase. Designing the system to be able to cover those essential loads becomes really important, and also the safety design element. That becomes a much more in-depth conversation when we're talking about black start, where the inverter, if you do completely drain the battery, can start up the next day. Making sure that you don't overload the battery. That's another part of off-grid. We'll go into off-grid, all these blackout protection
Protection
in a bit more detail.